Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This is Selena. Welcome to a new video. If you're new to my channel, my name's Selena and I release a crochet tutorial weekly. So today I'm really excited for this new project. It's inspired again by the J.W. Anderson Patchwork Cardigan. I've already made my own crochet version inspired by the designer J.W. Anderson. I will be linking it right here and in the down bar. And so that's another crochet tutorial that I did a few months ago. And I decided to make a newer version that would be more feminine, more fitted and in pastel colours and with cute little buttons, and I absolutely adore it. It's really gorgeous. So the free pattern, as always, is up on my blog, selenaveronique.com. I will be linking everything in the down bar again. So this is a fairly easy project to make. So if you're a bit of a beginner, that's fine. It's quite an easy project to create. There's nothing complicated. And yes, it comes in sizes S to 3XLs, I think, or 4XLs, I can't remember. But again, the free pattern in all those sizes is on my blog for download. And I will be doing size S on this video. So basically everything that I say in this video is for the size S, but the principle is the same. So if you want to make a different size, just go ahead and check out the free pattern, and then you will know the exact number of chains you need to make for the size that you want, if that makes sense. I will be linking everything in the down bar. So for this project I used Stylecraft Special DK. So this is a DK Light 3 yarn. So I used this brand, and I will be writing down all the different shades that I've been using, that I used. So I used different shades of pastel. Again, I will be writing everything down, but you can substitute this easily with any light 3 yarn of your preference. And I would suggest paint box yarns. DK is really good for a substitute for this one, but you can use whichever you prefer. You will need a 4mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, that's right here. And you will also be needing, so I used 5 buttons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but you can use however many buttons you prefer. I will be linking these in the description box too. Yeah, so if you want to purchase them, they're really cute. They're like this little arrow button. Anyway, all the pictures, there's lots of pictures on my blog, selenaveronique.com, to help you through this project. And without further ado, I'm just going to jump right into the tutorial. So basically for this pattern you will have 2 different designs, so 2 different squares, and we will be making these squares in different colors and a different number in the colors, if that makes sense, a different number of squares. So basically I will be listing all of this down on my blog in the free pattern. So I will be listing the exact number of squares you need for square 1. So this is square 1. I will be going through this pattern step by step, both of these actually. So for square 1 I will be writing down how many squares you need in which colors exactly, so that you know. And I'll do the same for this square number 2, which is a different pattern, and I will be writing all the details down on my blog, selenaveronique.com. And now I'm just going to jump right into the tutorial for this square number 1. So for square number 1, you will be taking your yarn and making a slip knot, pop your hook through, and you are going to be chaining 22. So just go ahead and chain 22. So 1, 2, 3, So I've chained 22, and what we are going to be doing now is counting 1 and 2 stitches. So 1 and 2 chains from the hook and go into the third. So 1, 2, 3, go into the third with a half double crochet. So wrap your yarn around your hook, go into that chain, pop your hook through, pull your yarn, you've got 3 loops on your hook, take your yarn and pull through 3 loops and go into the next chain and do the same. Place a half double crochet into that and into the next chain, and basically we are simply going to be placing half double crochets. So basically we are simply going to be placing half double crochets into each and every chain across. So I'm just going to let you do that. Just go ahead and place half double crochet into each chain, and I'll show you how to do row 2. So here we go. I've got row 1 of my half double crochets, and basically what I am going to do now for row 2 is chain 2, 1 and 2, turn your work, and this counts as your first half double crochet that goes with this first stitch. So you're just going to go into the second stitch, second stitch, and place a half double crochet into this, and this is what it looks like. Go into the next stitch and place a half double crochet into, and basically you are going to go into each and every half double crochet from the previous row and place another half double crochet into that, and I'll show you what to do to finish off this row. So here we go. I've almost finished this second row. However, I've still got a half double crochet into which I need to pop a half double crochet into, like so. And also I have the chain 2 from the previous row here into which I need to place a half double crochet into. So basically just do that. So basically this is what it looks like. The square will straighten out as we go along, and just make sure you have the exact number of stitches that you need for this project. If you are in doubt, just count your stitches in each row, on each row, but you should have the right number as we go along. So for row 3 is simply a repeat of row 2, so just chain 2, 1 and 2, turn your work, and this is your first half double crochet. Just go into the second stitch and place another half double crochet into that, and then into the next stitch, and so on. And then when you reach the end of this row, don't forget to place a half double crochet into the chain 2 from the previous row, and there you go. So just carry on repeating row 2, and you should have 14 rows in total. You need 14 rows in total for square 1, and once you finish your square, just make a knot like you would usually would and fasten off, and make sure you leave a long tail for sewing in your squares together afterwards. So yes, so square 2 looks like this, and it's a really lovely pattern, and basically it's very easy to crochet. So I'm just going to jump right into the tutorial. So basically for square 2 you are going to make a slip knot, pop your hook through, and chain 21. So go ahead and chain 21. 1, 2, 3. So once you've chained 21, you are going to skip the first chain and go into the second chain from the hook and place a double crochet into that. So just go into the second chain from the hook and place a double crochet into that, and the first chain counts as a single crochet. And now in the next chain we are going to be placing a single crochet into that. And then into the next chain, we are going to be placing a double crochet into that. And into the next chain, a single crochet. And basically, we are simply going to alternate double crochets and single crochets all the way along, and you will be finishing on a single crochet. So I'll just let you carry on and then I'll show you how to do row 2. Okay, so I finished row 1 and I've just finished on a single crochet. So now for row 2, I am simply going to chain 3, so 1, 2 and 3, and this counts as our first double crochet with this stitch. And now we're going to go into the next stitch, which is a double crochet from the previous row. So you can see we've got double crochets, single crochets, double crochets, single crochets, and every time we'll see a double crochet, we will be placing a single crochet on top of it. So here we go, the next stitch is a double crochet from the previous row, so we're going to place a single crochet on top of it, and basically this creates an alteration from one stitch to the other. Once again, double crochet, single crochet, the next stitch is a double crochet, and it creates also an alternation between rows, if that makes sense. So now that we've done a double crochet, we're going to go and place a single crochet into the next stitch, and then into the next stitch we're going to place a double crochet. So I hope this is clear and easy to understand. So basically just alternate double crochets and single crochets, and that will alternate them also from one row to another. So basically I'll just let you carry this on until the end of this row, and I'll show you how to finish off this row. So I've almost finished my row, as you can see, and basically I still have 2 stitches so to do. So I'm going to place my single crochet on top of this stitch, so just go ahead and place a single crochet. And we did have the chain 1 from the previous row, into which we are going to place a double crochet into that. So just go ahead and place a double crochet into that stitch. There we go, and this is what our project looks like for now. And now for row 2 we are going to chain 1, and this counts as a single crochet, and we are going to double crochet into the next stitch, and again this is going to create this alternation, and single crochet, double crochet, single crochet. So basically you are simply going to alternate these 2 rows. So this is row 2 and row 3, so just alternate row 2 and row 3. So you are simply going to alternate those rows until you have 18 rows, or until your square measures what it's supposed to measure. So basically I will be measuring my squares and popping the measurements on my blog selinaveronique.com, so check that out for the exact measurements of each square. But basically I have 18 rows in total for this square, and basically you are going to simply alternate these rows. And so one row is going to start with double crochets, with a double crochet, sorry, and it will finish with a double crochet, and then the other row is going to start with a single crochet, and you are going to be finishing with a single crochet, and you are simply going to alternate these stitches. So double crochet, single crochet, and so on. And so because we started this row with a chain 1, which is a single crochet, we will be finishing this row with a single crochet at the end. So just carry on alternating these 2 rows, and yeah, for the exact details just check out my blog selinaveronique.com. Hi guys, so I'm back and now I'm just going to show you how to sew your gorgeous project together. So don't worry, I know this, so this is the back and I will be putting lots of pictures on my blog and my pattern on how to place all your squares, but basically in how many you need, but it's pretty straightforward, so you can check my blog for the exact photographs and the details, but basically it's really straightforward. So I've already sewed these squares and I'm just going to show you my technique, and it will be the same technique for all of the squares, if that makes sense. So I've got one square left that I'll show you how I've sewed it. And basically just choose one right side and one wrong side. So basically this is my wrong side and this is where my stitches will be apparent, if that makes any sense. So they're not really apparent that much, they're quite discreet, but you can see them more on this side than this side. And basically this will be the side, the right side, if that makes sense. The side that I will be showing the world, so that will be the back of the cardigan. So I hope this made sense. And basically now I'm just going to show you how to sew your squares together. So here we go. I've popped my needle through with the yarn, and basically I've got quite a long tail for sewing in, and I'm just going to pop my needle through this corner. So just choose the place where you want to start, and basically I'm just going to use a simple mattress stitch, and basically I'm just going to do this gently and place some stitches, and I am going to try and have discrete stitches, if that makes sense. So I am going to try and have them more apparent on this side, because obviously the other side is the right side and it's the side we're going to show the world, if that makes sense. So yeah, so just try and delicately sew in your square like I'm doing. It's very easy and straightforward. I'm just going to go through every stitch basically and sew. So there you go, and I'm going to secure it quite well at the corner. So again, quite discreetly, I'm going to go down like this, and then I'm going to stitch it here too, and then I will be tidying up my loose ends. As you can see, I've tidied up my loose ends as I go along. So don't worry if your squares are a bit unequal, if that makes sense. So they're not going to be exactly all measuring the same, so don't panic, that's totally normal. They should measure roughly approximately the same size. Obviously the size of each square is going to be written on my pattern and blog, so check that out. But it's just to reassure you, it's normal that they will not be the exact same, but that's fine. And yeah, so I'll let you carry on with the sewing, and I've just used different colors, if that makes sense. So I've used this pink to stitch this together, and now I'm using this peach color to sew this square together. So I'm not using the same colors. It just depends on which square, just because I think it looks neater. So I used like the purple to stitch these two together. So I hope this is making sense. But anyways, I'll let you carry on stitching the back of your cardigan, and then I'll show you how to do the front. Okay, so now that we've sewed all our squares together for the back, this is how I've sewed my squares together for the front. Again, all the pictures of the squares and how I've placed them will be on my blog, selinaveronique.com. You will also have the option, so the free pattern is on my blog, selinaveronique.com, so you can check out the pictures to see how I've placed my squares. And these are the two sides of the front of the cardigan. And I've also done my sleeves. So I've done So I've also done both my sleeves, so that's one sleeve open, I've not seamed it yet, and again both my sleeves are identical. So there we go, I'll pop that one on top of the other. So I've got both my sleeves, and again the pictures on how I've placed my squares will be on my blog, and for the sleeves I've placed 9 squares like so, but again everything will be written on my blog. And now I'm just going to show you how to stitch your cardigan together. So to begin, you are going to be choosing your wrong side and your right side, and the wrong side will be the one on the inside where you won't see the seam. So this is my wrong side, so I'm just going to flip it like that so that the right side is on the inside. I'm going to make sure this is closed symmetrically, and now I'm going to start stitching my cardigan. So I'm just going to pop my needle through. I'm going to use the mattress stitch, but you can use any stitch that you prefer. Just make a knot like so right here, not too hard the knot, and now I'm just going to show you how to stitch this. So I've zoomed in, and what I will be doing is just popping my needle in one side, so you can use whichever seam stitch that you prefer. So there we go, and then I'm just going to pop it through the other side. So then I'm just going to pop it through the other side, and you just go ahead and do that until you reach the end of this seam. And then once you reach the end of this seam, just make a knot and then fasten off, and then tidy up your loose end, and then I'll get back to you to show you how to sew the rest of your cardigan. Okay, so I've stitched both my sleeves together. So, I mean not together, but I've stitched both seams of the sleeves, so those are done. And now I'm just going to show you how to assemble your cardigan. So this is the back of the cardigan, and I'm actually going to look at which is the right side and the wrong side for stitching, because we want the stitches to be on the wrong side. So this is my right side and this is my wrong side. So this is how I'm going to place my cardigan, with the wrong side on the table. I'm going to take the front, the 2 panels. Okay, so I've placed the front of my the 2 panels on top, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to try and show you on camera. So just make sure everything's symmetric, and what we are going to be doing now is simply stitching. So these are the shoulders, so this is the top of the cardigan, and the whole of the cardigan touches, like both panel touches each other, if that makes sense. So you are simply going to stitch from this end straight to the other end. So I'm just going to let you do that with the mattress stitch, and then I'll get back to you to show you how to do the rest. So I'm back, and I've just sewed my stitch across the top, so just make sure to put your cardigan straight. And now the next step is to sew on to sew this side. So basically you're just gonna make sure that your cardigan is nice and symmetrically placed. So basically make sure both ends meet here, and then you're just going to place your sleeve like that, and basically make sure that the seam is facing down. And now we are simply going to be stitching this side all the way down. So I've popped my yarn onto my needle, and I'm just going to make a knot at the top right here. So I've got quite a long piece of yarn, and basically you are going to be stitching so this side of the sleeve, so just stitch your sleeve this side like I've just showed you, and then once you finish the sleeve, so once you finish stitching on this side of the sleeve to that side of the cardigan, you're simply going to carry on stitching your cardigan together, and then I'll show you what to do. So I've just finished stitching on this side of the sleeve, and now I'm just going to go down the whole side of the rest of the cardigan and stitch that together. And yeah, and I'll see you back once I've finished. So I've just reached the bottom of this side, and I'm just going to tie a knot. So I'm just going to go ahead. I hope you can see. So just go ahead and tie a knot, and what I'll do is I'll tidy up my loose end later. And this is what we have. So we've got part of the sleeve and part of that side sewed, and what we are going to be doing is flipping this over, so flip the whole cardigan over, and we're simply now going to fasten on this side of the sleeve, and then our whole side of the cardigan will be sewed. And basically I'm just going to take a piece of yarn, fasten it onto one side and sew it in, and I'm just going to let you do that and then do the other side the same way, and then I'll meet you back to show you the rest. So I've just finished sewing my cardigan together, and I absolutely adore it. It's so gorgeous. It really is. So basically now the next step, I'm going to show you how to do the bottom edge and also the sleeve edges, and basically it will be the same technique. So I've already done mine, but I will be showing you step by step what I've done. And basically I've done like a knit, it's crochet, but it's the crochet knit like stitch. And basically I'm going to show you how to make it, but basically the principle will be that once we've done that, we will be sewing it onto the bottom of the cardigan like so, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to walk you through this, and then I've got my two cuff edges to right here that we will then sew onto the cardigan too. So I'm just going to jump right into the tutorial for these. So I'm just going to show you how to do the bottom edge and the cuffs. So I'm going to start with the bottom edge. So to begin, just make a slip knot and pop your hook through. And once you've done that, you will be chaining 15. So just go ahead and chain 15. 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically we are going to be half crocheting into the third chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, and go into that third chain and place a half double crochet into that. And then go into the next chain and place a half double crochet into that. And into the next chain and place a half double crochet into that. And into the next chain, and just place a half double crochet into each and every chain until the end of this row. So there we go. So for row 2, you are going to chain 1, turn your work, and basically you are simply going to be placing a half double crochet. So you're not going to be placing it into this stitch. You know how usually we would go through the top of the stitch and the 2 strands across. This time we are going to be going into the bottom front stitch, if that makes sense. So this stitch, you're going to go through this stitch, well, the first stitch actually. We're going to go through this stitch, the first stitch. So basically I'm just going to pop my hook back in, and I'm just going to place a half double crochet into that stitch here. So just go ahead and place a half double crochet into that. And then you're going to go into the next stitch and do the same thing, and then go into the next stitch and do the same thing, and into the next stitch and do the same thing, and just carry on, and I'll show you how to finish off the row. So I've almost finished this second row. I still have 2 stitches left to do, so I'm just going to go into this one at the front right here, and then I'm going to go into the chain 2 from the previous row, and this counts as a stitch for this row. And there we go, we finished row 2. Now for row 3 you are going to chain 1, and now we are not going into the same stitch again. We're going to go into the back loop only of the stitches. So basically the back loop only is this loop right here. So usually you have 2 loops on a stitch, so you'll have 2 loops on one stitch, but we're just going to go into the back loop only. So that's what we're going to do. So we've chained 1, and this counts as a turning chain, and we're simply going to half double crochet into the first stitch into the back loop only. We're going to go again into the back loop only of the next stitch, and so on until the end of this row. So I'll just let you carry on, and then I'll meet you back at the end of this row. So there we go, I'm back, and I've just got 1 stitch left. So I'm just going to go into the back loop of that stitch right here and place a half double crochet into that. And there we go, I've started this knit stitch look pattern, and basically for the next rows you are simply going to alternate row 2 and row 3. So chain 1, and again you're just going to repeat row 2 and go into that front loop, and then again yarn over and go into the front loop, and so on. So just repeat row 2 and row 3 until so for the bottom, so I've already done my bottom border. So this is what it looks like. It's absolutely gorgeous, and basically I have 83 rows, and that's 33 inches in total. Again, everything is written on my blog and on my pattern, so don't forget to check that out. All the links are in the description. So yes, the links are in the description, so don't forget to check that out for the exact dimensions. This is what you need. And then for the sleeves, it will be the exact same thing. You will need 2 sleeves, cuffs, but instead of chaining 15 for your foundation chain, you will be chaining 12, so it will be a bit less large. And I did 25 rows in total for each sleeve, and you need 2. So I'll just let you do that, and then I'll show you how to sew them onto the project. So basically I'm going to show you how to stitch this onto the project. So basically the knit part is facing away from us and it's facing down, and we've popped it onto the sleeve like so. And basically we want the sleeve to be like this part, like we're going to place the cuff under it so that this is under it, if that makes any sense. So basically now I've attached my yarn and I've attached the cuff, and I'm simply going to be stitching this onto the cardigan, and the stitch will be visible on the other side, and I'm just going to pull it, if you understand what I'm saying, just so that it cinches it a bit, because we want the cuff to be tight onto the project. So as we go along, I hope you can see, I'm just going to pop my needle in and out, and we're just going to cinch it as we go. just so that it tightens the cuff, which is what we want. So I hope this is making sense. And so I'm just going to let you go all the way around and making sure you have enough cuff to go all the way around, and I'll meet you back to show you what to do. So I finished stitching on my cuff, one of the cuffs, and I've kind of stretched it out before I finish off this part. And now that I've stretched it out, just make sure you can pop your arm in, like your hand, so it's not too tight, if that makes any sense. So I've loosened mine a bit, and now I'm simply going to stitch both parts together. So now this, I've turned it inside out and it looks absolutely gorgeous. And what I will be doing now, but I'm not going to show it on camera, is just go round again later and finish off this cuff, just making sure that all the parts are nice and secured and make it look neater on the outside. And that's what I'll do later on. Hi guys, so I'm back and I've popped my edging on the bottom of my cardigan and sleeves, and now I'm just going to show you how to create the front of the cardigan. So what we are going to be doing is popping our hook through the very bottom of the cardigan, so the part that we've just stitched on. Put a knot on that. And now we're simply going to be placing single crochets all the way along. So we're going to place single crochets all the way along this cardigan. So now that we've put a knot, we're simply going to chain one, like so. And now we're simply going to be placing a single crochet all the way along this side, and then the other side too. So just place a single crochet as equally as possible. You don't need a specific amount of single crochets for this part. Just make sure that you place them on this side. And when you reach this part, which is where we've stitched, just make sure you pop your hook through both parts. There we go, as best you can. This isn't supposed to look absolutely perfect, if you know what I'm saying. Just carry on placing your single crochets all along here until you reach the top, which is the neck. And then just go down again, don't stop. Just place single crochets until you reach the opposite bottom part, and then I'll get back to you to show you what to do. Okay guys, so I've popped my row of single crochets all the way along the top of the border of the cardigan. And now what we are going to be doing, I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and this counts as my first single crochet. I'm going to turn my work round, so this counts as my first single crochet. So I'm going to go into the second stitch with a double crochet. Did I say so? The first 3 chains counts as a double crochet, and then this is a double crochet, and then go into the next stitch and place a double crochet into that, and then into the next stitch a double crochet, and basically just do that until you reach the end of your row. So basically you're going to go all the way around again until the other side, and once you reach the other side, you're going to place a double crochet in that chain 1 that we did, and then you're going to chain 3, which will count as a double crochet, and go round again. So we're going to have 2 rows of double crochets, and then I'll meet you back to show you what to do. So I finished doing this front edging, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. This is how it looks all the way to the top, and I've added the buttons onto my cardigan, so I've sewed them on. And yeah, so basically I just sewed them on this side, and I put them on the first row of double crochets that we did, and then I counted 10 double crochets in between each button and sewed them on simply with a thread and normal needle. And yes, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to leave me a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe for a new crochet video every week. And thank you so much. Bye bye.